Hello guys, and welcome to the first of hopefully many Photoshop tutorials by Jables1195 here. Not sure if any of you guys knew, but I was big into graphic design. I am a professional designer. I do it for a living. I design for a lot of different companies around my area, but then I also just design for the hell of it. So today, the reason you guys are probably checking this out is just to get maybe the basic grip of Photoshop. I mean, starting out, you don't know exactly where you're at, where your caliber is as a designer. But today I'm just here to show you the first thing we're going to be covering today is just the tools that Photoshop can offer. But that's just for this episode here. I mean, I will be posting more tutorials later on, like for more in-depth stuff, but today I'm just going to be covering the basic tools here on the side left navigation bar here. So first up, you've got the move tool, and this is basically just your extremely basic. I mean, if you don't know what a move tool is, then you pull and drag, got that, blah blah blah. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's really, if you want to get more pinpoint accurate moving, I suggest using the move tool and then also using the nudge on the arrow keys on your keypad on your computer. But other than that, it's just you can use your move tool. Jesus, sorry, for just basically about anything to move around on the canvas here. Next up is the rectangular marquee tool, and what this will do is it just selects a group of pixels. Say, let's take that for example, and let me find a piece where the background, and here we can delete, and you see how it gets lighter and all that, and I'll delete it here too. Oh, never mind. Gotta rasterize that layer first. And now, see, it's a completely different feel to it than what it was. Maybe not. But yeah, you can see that, like right here, it's completely cut off. Right around there, it's just a selection tool for pixels and all that. So whatever it is that you want to do to maybe select a group of rectangular pieces, but you can do whatever. You can fill it in. You can create shapes out of that. But the same goes for the elliptical marquee tool. It just creates a circle rather than a rectangle. And then also for the single row and single column marquee tool, it's the same exact things, just does it really easy. Just picks it up and you can fill in the selected area with it. Next up is the polygon lasso tool and the lasso tool. If you are not a fan of pen tool, this is a very good tool for you. You can just go around the outer edges, and I'm just going to do his head real quick just to show you what it's capable of for like render wise, I guess, if you want to put it that way. The only part that I don't like about the polygon lasso tool, Jesus, I can't speak today, is that it's all like dead stops on the points, rather than with the pen tool you can get those curves that you want. And now let's close that and see how it fills in the area there. It's just like the rectangular marquee tool, but it's with polygon lasso tool and all that. The lasso tool, it's my settings personally for this are pretty messed up right now, but it's just a draw method where like you draw wherever you want to go. Like I can go all the way over here, la 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 la. Oh, never mind. And then it will highlight wherever you drew around. So it's basically like a free-form pen tool to select pixels. So that's a very handy tool itself too. Magnetic lasso tool, that's not my favorite, so I wouldn't recommend using it. What it does is pretty weird. It's like selects and basically curves to whatever the lighting is on the piece here, but it's whatever. See, and it'll create, since I didn't let go, there's that weird effect there. But that's what the lasso tools can do for you. The quick selection tool is a very good tool in my opinion, especially if you don't like the pen tool it's another great way to capture just area around in pixels and all that. So here I'm just going to select my render. Oh, it's picking up part of my cinematic borders there, but that's alright. But the only thing that's not very good with the quick selection tool is that it does not do a very good job of cleaning from a hard pixel mix to a softer, more spread out pixel mix. Like as you can see here, it gets all the dark areas, but the light it has trouble picking up. And it's not whenever you go from the dark to the light, it's not as accurate. But with CS5, you can use the refine edge tool. You can actually pull out where you want to go. I don't remember exactly where this render ends, so it's going to be a little bit rough here, but makes the selection more accurate than what it would be. But yeah, the refine edge tool is actually a very good tool. If you're a photographer and you are having a tough time with a photograph that you got, and you can't really get that little edge you want to get, the refine edge tool is a very great tool for that, and I highly suggest it. Crop tool is next up. That's pretty basic. I mean, say I just want to take this out of it, crop, and wait for my computer. There we go, and then boom, done. Very easy and handy tool. And if you just saw, I didn't go over to my history, but I rather did this shortcut Control Z, which is a very handy tool in my opinion, because if you're a designer and you're mixing with a lot of different effects and different layers, it's a very handy thing to be able to switch back to undo real quick. So I suggest if you don't use Control Z, you train yourself to do it, because if you get more in depth into design, it's a very handy thing to have. Next up is the eyedropper tool, which to me out of these is the only ones that I ever use. The rest are pretty cool though. The count tool, note tool, ruler tool. That's just the basics. But what the eyedropper tool it does is it picks the exact RGB colors color code out of the selection that you want here. So let's say I want to go right here, and then see how it brings it up around that circle ring there. Well, that then makes it your foreground color here. And it's not a default, but it has it selected then that you can use that color for anything you need. So like if you want to make something match, you can use the eyedropper tool and then place it wherever you want to do for your brush tool. The healing brush is actually very good tool. I don't know how well it's going to work on this piece, but I can demonstrate this on the text real quick. What it basically does is it uses content aware, and it gets rid of something there and then tries to, oh, that didn't work. It's not working for me right now. But what it does is the content aware, it basically, say I want to like do that for that, it'll take the content in the background, hence content aware, and it will basically by itself know what would be there without it. So like if my content aware tool was cooperating with me right now, I'd be able to make it look so like this. The lost would be like that. But this is mostly content aware is mostly used for layers or pieces that don't have multiple layers. So that's probably adds to why it is. I mean, I don't use content aware much, but whenever I do, it's a very big help. But it's not used much whenever you have multiple layers like that. But hey, it's whatever. But next up is the brush tool. This is probably one of the first things you'll use as a designer. Just pick out a brush you want. I'll just go right here like this, and I will make this white just to demonstrate more. But it's just like woo. And if you have custom brushes like this, the best thing to do is not click and drag unless it's like unless you have different settings on for your brush tool, because it just looks, it looks, if you know what you're doing on the drag and you have settings done so that it'll look good, it will, like I have settings on here for this, that's why it didn't turn out terrible. But like, if you go to the default one and just click and drag, it just looks nasty. So that's one of the things you don't really want to do, is just the click and drag of the brush tool here. But the clone stamp and the pattern tool, and the pattern stamp tool, those are pretty cool in my opinion. What they do is, if you take here, I will show you. It takes, if you want to use the pattern, it takes any one of your preset patterns, and then you can put it into your pattern stamp tool, and then it will stamp that pattern on to the set place that you want to put it on. So it's a pretty cool it's a cool alternative to just using a pattern overlay, but personally I'll use a pattern overlay over that because it's more simple in my opinion. The history brush, it's just basically a brush, but like in your history of your past history of what you used. So that's basically just the same thing as the brush tool. The eraser tool, this is a very good tool in my opinion, especially if like you're into form signatures, smudging pieces, and all that. But I personally love the erase tool. Whenever I first got into Photoshop, I was just like, I don't really want to erase anything, it'll look choppy. But that's because I didn't realize that you can use different brushes. Like if you use just a straight default brush, it's gonna look nasty. But a soft brush, on the other hand, will look very nice if you just slightly go around the outside of a render or something. And all your brushes that you have predefined for your brushes in your brush tool, they are also your erase tool, and then also your smudging tools too. So they're the same brushes there, and we will get to the smudging just in a couple of seconds here. Gradient tool is up next. This is it adds a lot of different feel to a piece. Like here, this would be a never mind. I don't really want to take it up and show. But actually, you know what? I'll just do this, and then that's what a standard gradient would look like. You can control it, or shift, not control, shift and click up and over for straighter lines, and then if you just want to go by yourself, you can just let go of shift and you will do it all by yourself, and it creates a gradient over it. But a gradient tool is very good for just like a background. It adds that little, it adds the RGB, the flair to it, if you will. So it's pretty cool. Smudge tool is one of my favorites because I will just use it everywhere. It's a tool where you literally take part of the piece. I will actually show you this render. This render here. You can see how it's got a straight blending mode on it, or linear dodge blending mode on it. But here, this is what the smudge tool can do. I just did it around the outside edges, but you can see that it takes the colors and pulls them away. So you're actually like, if you think about it on a piece of paper, you are taking and pushing the colors away from the area that you want them to. So it's a very good tool, especially if you know how to blend them, and then and you know how to use it well and not whore the smudging over and make it look bad. But it's a very good tool. The blur tool is very good too. It adds depth to pieces. Like you can see right around here. That's all blurred. Adds nice depth to the piece. But blurring, there's several different options. You can get a filter and then blur, and then you get the average blur, blur more, box blur, Gaussian blur, lens blur, motion blur, radial blur, shape blur, smart blur, and surface blur. But there's a bunch of different options that Photoshop will predefine for you for blurring, and you can change the settings all around however you want. But they're really good tools. And then the sharpen tool, it just does exactly what it says. It sharpens the piece for it. It brings out the it's hard to explain it. It sharpens the clarity of it if you know how to do it well. Next up is the dodge, burn, and sponge tool. Even though I do a lot in like form signatures and the like, I really stay away from these tools. I don't know, because I just never really got into them. But the dodge tool and burn tool, if you look up some tutorials on like the professionals who use them constantly, you can turn out some really good pieces with it. So I'm sorry I'm really skipping over that kind of, but I mean, I don't really know much to say on it because I just don't use it. But if you learn how to use it correctly, you can make pieces work really well. The pen tool next is probably one of the most hated things in Photoshop, but in all actuality, it's a very good tool to learn how to use. The pen tool, what you can do is here. I'll just start a new path, click and drag. See how you're getting those curves in there? That's basically what you're doing with the quick selection tool and then the polygon lasso tool, but you were not you couldn't get those curves in there. It makes it more of a it's not what I'll say it this way. It's not a bitmap image then, which means if for those of you that don't know what bitmap images are, it doesn't pixelate if you use paths. The pen tool runs off of paths, and once you create something with that, no matter how large or how big you make it, it'll keep its same clarity, because whenever pixels are enlarged like this, you can see how they come forward, and you can see the individual pixels. And whenever you zoom out too, you can see that it gets condensed and it gets a little blurry and all that. Well, if you take pen tool and you apply the pen tool and you know what you're doing, you can create whole images from just the drawing of the pen tool, and you can make it vector art, which runs off of mathematics rather than pixels. So it's a very good tool. Text tool is just standard text. I mean, I've wrote my little watermark down on the bottom here with the text tool. The path selection tool, this just goes along with the pen tool, I'm guessing, but I personally have never used it, so I mean, that's another one I don't really know much to say on, because I just personally have never used it. And then the last one I'm really going to cover today, because it's the last one that's really important to me, is the rounded rectangle ellipse tool and polygon tool and line and custom shape tool. These are just your standard shapes. I mean, like here you can draw, boom, you got a rectangle, rounded rectangle there. The radius, you can change the way the roundedness of the curves are. So that was 3 here. I'll show you what, like, say something like 20 would look like. It's got that more round. It's got the more rounded edge right there, rather than what this would be. See how it's more of a straight edge there. It's one of those things where you got to get the hang of, but I mean, once you know where your limits are, it's pretty cool. So that's just been my basic overview of the main tools, in my opinion. I don't use the bottom 4 here, but well, I hope I cleared some stuff up for you guys, for you beginners here out there that want to know more on what to do and what each tool does. I would hope to see more of you in the future coming back for tutorials. I hope I did a good job for you guys. I'm going to be doing some more in-depth stuff, some tutorials on smudging, lighting, all that good jazz. And I'm going to hopefully be having a full-on Photoshop tutorial grouping soon, so I can have my own little following of upcoming designers, because I love seeing what you guys can do and bring to the table. So give me some submissions for ideas on what you would like to see me do for another tutorial or a speed art, whatever that may be. But yeah, just hit me up. So till next time, guys, I'm out. Peace.